Hello, hello, what's up, Guru Nation, and everyone watching across the country. We are live for the Guru Nation podcast, weekly mock draft Monday. We are back once again here on Monday, July 29th, to bring you this mock, a 12-team PPR with a very special guest, fantasy football beast. We're going to bring him on in just a minute. We've got myself, Beast, and 10 other Guru Nation members here ready to get this thing going. And some of his people. We got a few of the Beast Nation people as well. It's going to be really fun, y'all. Strap in. You won't want to miss it. Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? All right, let's get it. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest for this evening, y'all. He's got a huge following over on Instagram, and he's killing it each and every year with the fantasy football isms. Here he is, y'all. And my fellow Spencer, fantasy football beast. What up, bro?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. Glad to have you. He's been on the Instagram now. He's been grinding for how long have you been on it, bro? I've been on
Dude,
it like 10 years now.
I hit 9 years a couple weeks ago.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, we've been at this for the
Crazy.
long haul. Yeah, we
We're
played a long
OGs.
game here. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, we can say that without it being BS. Like we're actually
No,
OGs. We've actually been at this for a while.
people don't even know about that. Back in the day, there was, I don't know, 7 accounts. Great time.
Right? Right. Yeah,
Great
Ari
time.
was one of them. He's up in the chat here. What
What's
up,
up,
bro?
Ari?
Yep, fantasy football expert. Yeah, it was like us, Ari, a
Another
state
OG.
of mind, couch
Couch,
analyst.
101,
10, yep, yeah.
Nation.
Pour one out for 101. Yeah, Nation,
Yeah,
pour one
Nation
out.
too.
Yeah,
Dude, it's crazy.
I know,
Times
right?
change.
Exactly. Well, shout out the chat here real quick before we get this draft going. What up, Emil? Sir Bongs? What up, yo? MG? Oh, that's you, Beast. All right.
Yeah, of course. I got to support.
Yes, sir. And Justin. What up, Justin? For sure. All right, y'all. So everyone in the sleeper chat, we're about to get this thing rolling, y'all. So we got the draft board. Pull it up right here. Beast gets the first pick. Wow, second week in a row, the guest gets the first pick.
Now, and I know who I'm taking too.
Oh yeah, I know. That's not a bad place to be. Steven up in here. I know he's in the draft. Mega Moon, what up, bro? And Gator Fan, what up, Gator Fan? All right. You ready, Beast? You got
I'm
that
ready
first
to go.
pick. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1. You are on the clock, sir.
With the first pick, I think I'm going to surprise a lot of people in the chat, especially those who aren't familiar with my page. Go tap in. But I'm taking Bijan Robinson number 1. He's my number 1 running back this year.
Let's go.
I'm signing with youth.
Go.
I trust that the Atlanta offense, new coach, new coordinators, new quarterback. It's time for him to really pop off.
That is something, man. That's the boldest. I was pretty wild last week. I'm not gonna lie. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown 3rd overall, but Bijan at the 101. Oh my God, you really set this thing ablaze. Yep, I can respect it.
Gotta do it.
I can respect it because I mean, man, I might get Amon-Ra again here at pick 5 because, like, I mean, I took him at 3 last week, so yeah, it's tough.
5.
Yeah, I might, because I mean, you got Chase too and Jettis. It's tough, So, what? This week I'm gonna go Chase, just to change it up because I think they're all so similar. Joe Burrow, man, new dude. He's slinging that thing. As long as he's healthy, we already know Chase is gonna be a top 5 receiver.
Of course, and it's funny. All the mocks I do and I post them, I'm at 1, I'm at 3, I'm at 5, I'm at 7. I always end up with Bijan in the first round. So I guess this was my opportunity to mix it up. Might pick up anybody, but
that was dope. That was dope going Bijan 1. But give me a thought process though of why Bijan over CMC. What made you be like, you know what? I'm just gonna take Bijan over the guy that is the consensus 101.
Listen, you can't go wrong with McCaffrey, of course, but it's an age thing, really. I'd rather be a year early than a year late in terms of these aging running backs. And listen, McCaffrey, he's a different breed. Like I'm not, he's my number 2 running back. I'm not saying, he's gonna crash and burn. But I think if the top of the drafts always seem obvious in August, and then you look back in November and things aren't panning out the way the consensus had it. And I think if either one of them was to disappoint, I could see it being McCaffrey a lot more. He's had injury issues in the past. He is older, and there's a lot of weapons on that offense. I could see them even wanting to save his legs a bit, getting Mitchell more involved, some other guys. But Bijan, he's bursting onto the scene. It's the last coach basically got fired for not making him a workhorse. Like, that's really what that was. I'm not worried about Tyler Algier. They have a good enough weapons to where teams aren't going to be stacking the box. And Kirk Cousins is going to bring productivity to that offense. So I am all over Bijan Robinson this year.
Okay, yeah, that was sound reasoning, bro. I can see it. I think that my take though would be that, like, I really like Bijan in the first for sure. It's just like at the 101, for this season in redraft, I'd probably still lean McCaffrey because I think McCaffrey's still gonna have one or two more monster-esque seasons. But I could definitely see Bijan taking the leap. It's just, I mean, in Dynasty, he's for sure the top running back. So if this was Dynasty, I'd be like, well, duh, of course you're gonna go Bijan as the top running back. But in a redraft, I'm not quite as bullish on him as you are because I think the Falcons offense might go through a little rough patch. Kirk Cousins coming off the ACL. It's a whole new system, a lot of new parts and pieces they're going to have to implement. But I think by the second half of the season, we could definitely see Bijan pacing as the top back.
No, listen, it's fair. I'm not going to hate on anybody for taking McCaffrey number one. Like, it's a very reasonable pick, and there's a reason he's the consensus. But just, I think Bijan has massive floor, massive upside. And even if Cousins takes a second to get it going, Robinson's involved in the passing game. He's their workhorse. I don't see an avenue to where he's not giving, at worst, high RB2, low RB1 production, at worst, every week until the offense figures itself out and he's, exploding for 35 points and 2 touchdowns, every other week.
Right. Yeah, because once he finds his groove in that system, I think by this time next year for redraft, he will probably be the consensus number one running back if I had to guess.
So I guess I'm hoping to beat the system a bit, hoping that this is the year instead of next year, and I'm on top of it. And listen, there's a lot more value in getting Bijan, I think, at pick 5 than at pick 1. He's my number one guy. I'm taking him, but generally speaking, especially in leagues that allow you to trade picks, if I can choose to be the 5th pick and get Bijan, I'd much rather that than be at number 1. And I'll stop talking now because you're up.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're good. All right, so I got Chase here. Now what do I do? This is kind of an interesting spot, because, man, everyone's just kind of scooping up the players, kind of at similar price points that I have them, because a guy like Garrett Wilson, Puka, Devontae, Olave, Marv Jr., Drake London, I mean, all those guys get scooped up. I mean, I took Ayuk last week. That I'm kind of tempted with him. Nico Collins, another tempting option. Kelsey, obviously got to consider him, I feel like, an ETN. So I'm kind of torn between those 4. Now I've got less than 10 seconds. So I think I'm going to go ahead, though, and take Travis Kelsey because in the redraft, I just feel like those are just those slam dunk points. And at the tight end position, there's just not many slam dunk options. So I'm gonna go ahead.
He's your number 1, not Laporta.
Right? Yeah, I'm not that big on Laporta because I mean Laporta was very good last year, but the 10 touchdowns definitely inflated it. And I think this year we're gonna see a little more Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Amon-Ra's a clear alpha over there. So I think Kelsey's still, even though age, I know you brought up age earlier, but I'm not worried about age with him. He's defied age the past few years, and I don't see it catching up to him this season. It is a little high maybe, but I just I couldn't decide between the other receivers, so I was just like, you know what, I'll just take the number 1 tight end.
Yeah, this is a tough place to be. There's a reason I don't like the 1 pick. My guy's going at 5, and then you're down here, and the receivers have flown off the board.
Exactly. It's so
I'm thinking,
insane.
Maybe I'll get a Harrison, maybe I'll get a London, but Olave, that's not the case here. Is Ayuk really? Listen, he's coming off a great year. He's a great player. The contract situation is a little unnerving, but I don't see Ayuk as a 2nd round pick. It's just Evans, same thing. But here I am. I'm up. This is an interesting spot.
Yep. Oh man, yeah, because ETN would have been nice or Derrick Henry,
Right?
but
I
they
was up
just went.
at Henry. You know who I like a lot? I'm gonna reach again. At least according to the sleeper rankings. I'm gonna take Pittman here.
That's not bad. I got Pittman in the third round last week. I think I picked
Mhm.
third, and my front three was Amon-Ra, Ayuk, and Pittman.
Bijan and Pittman. This is an interesting duo here. And now to lead off the third round, I could take Ayuk, Evans, but I it's hard to pass up on Pacheco here. I think I'm very high on him. I
Yeah,
think
I
I
feel
think
you. Damn,
he's
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't because I would have taken him, man. Yeah,
I think he's a
Pacheco's getting
surefire
slept
top
on.
10. Yeah, surefire top 10 back. And listen, Achan's a great player. He has more upside for sure, but I think Pacheco's a lot safer. I like James Cook a lot, but I have Pacheco ranked a little higher. So listen, these are all I just made my running back rankings. I just made my receiver rankings. These are all fresh in my mind, But interesting start here, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been kind of tough navigating it because man, it could go in so many different directions here. It's just been kind of tough to figure out what's the best route to go. I'm pretty happy with my front two. Got to decide here what I'm
Yeah,
going to do with this
can't go
next
wrong.
pick here. Yep. Yeah, I could go crazy and go with the quarterback, because I feel like the quarterback, like Josh Allen here, wouldn't be bad,
Yeah, he's
value
usually
wise.
gone by now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I could go number one QB, number one tight end, but if I don't go a running back here, I might be mad. So because we all know how that position
That could fly at any point.
can dry up. Yeah, exactly. And then you're left with freaking this. I don't know who. Ken Walker as your RB1, and that's just not ideal. So, you know what? With that being said, I'm gonna take Rachaad White
Okay,
right
that's a good
here
pick.
because I'm thinking Rachaad White is a very safe pick. With Jacobs, I had been higher on Josh Jacobs than normally I would have taken here, but I've kind of moved him down a bit because let's be real, the past few years, Matt LaFleur's offense has not produced a good running back. Like Aaron Jones had the big year, like was that 3-4 years ago, and ever since then, I feel like that offense has just been kind of just
Yeah,
a black
they
hole for running back.
listen. They started using Jones a lot at the end of last year. He was putting up a few straight or a good amount of 100-yard weeks. But Jacobs is a guy, for anyone who follows me knows I'm not high on Jacobs this year. It's not about I don't think he'll get the usage. I just don't think he's the same player he used to be. Watching him on the Raiders last year, and a lot of that can be attributed to they had a terrible line. But even in space, I don't think he's explosive anymore, and it's going to be a pass-heavy offense. So Jacobs is a guy, I like White a lot more than Jacobs.
For sure, man. Yeah, and with White, man, I just feel like I don't see Bucky Irving being as much of a thorn in his side as some are thinking. Where
Yeah.
I think he'll catch I think he's got a floor of 50 receptions, a ceiling of 70, and his total yards, in this new offense, I think the Liam Cohen offense could actually be a boon to his rushing efficiency. So if that's the case, he might rack up over 1,500 from scrimmage. I think that's close to what he had last year. He had volume, just wasn't very efficient. So this year if the efficiency would go up, even if
A
Bucky
little,
Irving
yeah.
steals some, it's like he had 1,539 from scrimmage last year. So this year I think he could get 16, maybe 1,700, and then he had 9 total touchdowns. I see that number staying about the same as well.
No, I agree. Last year I wasn't as high on him. I was a big Sean Tucker's going to cut into his carries. So I learned my
Yeah.
lesson once.
Right. Yeah. I just think he's not Brees, Bijan, or CMC, but he's gonna get you what he gets you. I definitely rather him over a more volatile player like a Devon A-Chain, because I don't know how you feel about A-Chain Beast, but I just feel like he's someone that if he would fall to me like at late third, early fourth, I'd be all for it. But third round, it makes me nervous, like early third, because I just don't feel like there's any sort of a floor there.
So I made my running back rankings. I had Achan 15th. I
That's
had him
about where I
14th. I
have
had him
him.
14th at first, and last second I put Mixon over him. And honestly, in
Hmm.
hindsight, I think I have HN over Mixon because I made a post about him right after because he might be the most polarizing player in all of fantasy this year, Devon
Yeah,
HN. And
100%.
obviously the injuries are a concern easily. You can't deny that. But he put on some weight. He's gonna be used in the passing game a lot more than like we saw glimpses of it last year, but he was the clear second fiddle to Mostert. And a lot of his points came in garbage time. And I think he's gonna be very involved in the passing game this year. He's gonna see more carries naturally just because he's too good to keep off the field. He kind of burst onto the scene out of nowhere at the beginning of last year. I think they kind of didn't know how to integrate him, but now they've had a whole off season to be under the impression of, okay, this is a guy who needs to be getting the ball in our offense. And where he's going, mid third, I think I'm not taking him in the first 2 rounds. I think there's way too much risk, the injuries and just the uncertainty of the workload. But because I think his passing game usage is going to go up, and because he's just, I think, such a really good player, like I'm so high on him as a player that I'm okay with his workload maybe not being as high as some of the guys being drafted around him, like a Jacobs, a Mixon, because I think he can do a lot more with the touches than the other two can. And touchdowns is going to be an interesting factor in this. I don't know what to expect because how many 70-yard touchdowns can you rely on? And he doesn't seem like quite the goal line guy. But at his ADP of RB, 14, 15, I'm all over it. It's just the people who are taking him, in the single digits where absolutely not. Too much risk.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you just got it's all about getting guys at a good value point, and I feel like, yeah, late third, early fourth is a good value point. It's just taking him. He got time goes higher than that. But I see our buddy Emil's got a question here, and my goofy ass said redraft or dynasty in the comments. But then I look here, 2025 third. Oh, well, of course that's a dynasty trade. So his question is, would y'all trade Adams for Ridley, Lockett, and a 2025 third?
I think I prefer Adams there.
Yeah, I think so too, because none of those other assets are game changers.
Right?
Adams, even though it's a dynasty, he's still a game changing asset because there's a good chance midseason, if the Raiders are out of it, he'll get traded to either Buffalo or the Jets. And that would obviously boost his value. And he's still, even on the Raiders, I think a low end WR1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Ridley, I just, I don't trust him enough with Hopkins still there. And then Lockett's getting phased out with JS in there. And then a 25 third is just kind of, in a super flex. So it's, yeah, nah, I wouldn't mess with that, bro.
I agree. I think, like, listen, Lockett's on the tail end anyway. He's closer to the end than Adams is.
Yeah.
Ridley, no, he's fine, but none of the assets on the other end of that are, I think, more valuable than if you can get another, even a year or two of top 10 to 15 production from Adams. And I'm not even huge on Adams this year. I have him ranked, I want to say it was wide receiver 10 in my rankings.
Yeah, I think it's about where I
We
have
were
him.
like top 10, but the other guys just aren't enough of a package to where I would take them over the chance that Adams can give you another top 5. Plus, if he's traded, of course.
100%. So yeah, definitely want to get, it's just about getting those good, just foundational pieces. And I still say Adams would be considered a foundational piece. None of those other guys are anywhere
Yeah.
close to that. All right, I'm on deck here. Hopefully, Mathman can get his pick in. Oh, damn, I
Four
think that was our
receivers.
first auto. Wow, that was our first auto. Let's see. All right, let me take this off. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Who went? Oh, Diggs. I was looking at Diggs, but
I'm not
didn't
a
work
Diggs guy.
out. Didn't work out. I feel you. Yeah, Diggs. It's like, yeah, with Tank Dell too. It's kind of, yeah. I'm gonna go with Devontae Smith right here because I think he's getting kind of slept on, and Kellen Moore's offense, he should do better this
Yeah,
season.
I think he's in for a solid. You know what you're getting with him too.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I definitely like him more than Diggs. Diggs, I
Exactly.
just think he's a guy who's getting up there. He's not, for a lot of his career in Buffalo, it was just the quantity of targets, specifically last year, that was giving him his production. He trailed off at the end of last year. Now he's in a situation where he's not the number one guy. That's going to be Collins. Him and Dell, they're different players. They'll both be utilizing that kind of like I think a 2A, 2B role. You have Schultz there. They got Mixon. There's too many mouths to feed. I don't think he's the same player he was in a new offense. I think I had him ranked as wide receiver 26 in my rankings the other day. Like I'm not high on Diggs at all this year.
Yeah, we don't know how it's gonna be there with Stroud. Like I think Stroud is gonna have a huge year, but he's also got Nico, Tank Dell, and Dalton Schultz over there. So he's got a lot of mouths to feed. And I see Aaron and Nick, appreciate y'all. I dropped my Cash App in the chat, so if y'all want to donate to that, feel free. Unfortunately, I don't have super chats, and anything I would get from you guys, I'll split with Beast.
I'm up now. I'm very high on Aaron Jones this year, I will say, but I think I'm gonna go receiver here. I'm gonna
Damn,
take
Aaron's getting on you, man. Amari Cooper. All right, that's a solid pick.
I like Jones a lot. The only concern is health. I think he's gonna be used in the receiving game. He's gonna get plenty of carries. He's gonna get work at the goal line. The offense is, JJ is gonna be dumping down a lot. I am very high on him, but then I'm looking at my guy Kincaid here.
Oh yeah, I remember you made the video about Kincaid a while back.
I love Kincaid, and if I don't take him here, I'm not getting him. And this is pick 49. It's a little early, I'm gonna say, but I think I can't not take him. He's just my guy. He's my favorite player in fantasy this year. Ever since
I don't blame
the end of
you,
last year, I was betting his over every week on receiving yards. It was always in like the mid-30s. He's cashing it every time. I think Josh Allen trusts him a lot. It wasn't blatant in the numbers last year to where there was like, this late season surgeons. But I think just watching the game, he looks to Kincaid in big spots. When Kincaid gets his opportunities, he does a lot with them. And now, of course, Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis is gone, which is a very underrated aspect of Kincaid's breakout year. It's not even so much about Diggs, which, of course, that's a big part of it. But Gabe Davis being gone there are so many free targets now in the red zone, and Kincaid has big playability too. I'm all over him. I haven't made my rankings yet. My tight end rankings are next, but I think there's a pretty good chance he's tight end too. I have Laporta number 1 right now, but I like Laporta a lot. I don't like him at his ADP because I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between tight end 1 to like 5. McBride's in there. Kelsey Andrews. Like, there's a lot of guys. I don't think there's a clear number 1, but Kincaid's right in there. And the hype is building. People are high on him. Based on last year's production, he wouldn't be going early 5, but I think his floor is where he's being drafted. I think he's just so safe.
Are you concerned at all about the Dawson Knox stuff? Or saying he might lose some snaps there?
Knox is going to score some touchdowns, I think. So that's going to be annoying. But beyond that, I'm not too worried about it, because they have so many. I don't have the exact number
all the vacated targets. I think they might lead the league because Diggs had probably so many.
And then especially in the red zone, it was in my reel that I made that you referenced about Kincaid. Davis and Diggs were the 2 top targets in the red zone. They're both gone, and Kincaid was number 3. So
right.
I am so high on him.
And they didn't really bring in anybody else that's going to be a high volume.
Exactly, like
target.
Samuel, Keon Coleman. Like, listen, they're going to have nice roles. I think they're both like wide receiver 4 targets, but Kincaid's the guy. I think.
Agreed, man. Pace in here. What up, Pace? He's saying, I'm guessing he's talking about you, Beast, and saying, can you ask him why he thinks Waddle is going to be better than Hill this year?
I don't. To put it simply, I don't think that. That's a funny comment.
We got another one. Why he thinks Mike Evans is the top 5 receiver of all time. I will say this: Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. If he retired today, he'd be a Hall of Famer, not top 5.
See, that comment has some legs to it because I've posted many times about Mike Evans and how I don't think he deserves to be a Hall of Famer. And we could really get into this. I've talked about this on stream. I think listen, I really had to take it like maybe 2 years ago. I didn't think he was a Hall of Famer. Now at this point, I think it's inevitable. But he has a Super Bowl ring to back it up too. But at no point in his career was he a top 5 receiver. At no point, even top 10, bordering on it. Like, and in his prime, he's bordering top 10. He has years. He has a year. He has 1,001 receiving yards. And if he had, I swear by this, if he had 2 less receiving yards that year, he would not be in Hall of Fame talks. I am so I'm passionate about this, as you could probably tell. I'm getting worked up because all I hear every year, Mike Evans extended his 1,000-yard streak, and you look at his stats, and he had 1,008 yards. And
Yeah,
there's so many examples of this. And now I'm one of these people who thinks the Hall of Fame should be very hard to get into. Like baseball is, the best hall, and even there, I think they're going to start loosening it up. But
yeah,
the NBA
keep
Hall
it
of
an
Fame is a joke.
exclusive club. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially for professional sports.
Exactly. I think the standard should be high. And listen, if Eli didn't win that second ring, I wouldn't think,
bro.
Love Eli. I don't think he'd be a Hall of Famer without that second ring. I have a very high standard for it. And a guy like Mike Evans, who has never been a top 7 receiver in the sport at any point. He's been top 10. I'll give him that. He's snuck into the top 10. And his real big claim to fame is his yearly consistency because of this 1,000-yard streak. When he has 1,010 yards or less, 2 or 3 times in there, I'm not, the biggest fan of him, but he's also made me eat my words many years in a row, because this is not a new take for me. I've been talking about this really, I think, since probably COVID-ish is when it started, when I started seeing these takes, and we're 4 years later and I'm still talking about this, and his streak is still alive. So
yeah,
hand up,
insane.
He's going to make the Hall of Fame. Just personally, I wouldn't put him in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's when you think of the greats from the 2010s, it's you think AB, Julio, and all I think about it is AB because he's such a dickhead. He's probably not even gonna make the Hall of Fame,
right? Can you imagine if Mike Evans is in the Hall of Fame and Antonio Brown is not?
I could see it because Mike Evans, he's kind of be a little controversial, but not off the field. Where AB did so much crap off the field, where they'll probably just cancel him because I don't see the committee being able to be yeah, we're gonna put this guy in. Because just imagine an AB acceptance speech.
They can't. I feel like they're gonna have to censor him. That's a very good point. They're gonna be worried about that. And he absolutely does. He's I would say the greatest fantasy football player of my lifetime, at least as far as I've been paying attention to fantasy. How many years in a row was he the wide receiver one? Consistency. I think he's my number one fantasy player ever, especially over the duration of this page. But that's interesting. That acceptance speech. You bring up a good point there.
Hell yeah, man! You might Beasley might get your boys in line there. They're getting a little wild.
But yeah, like you said, you think of AB, Julio, Hopkins is up there. Even Odell had his run, shorter prime than the other guys.
Yeah, D-Hop for sure. Yeah, D-Hop I think is also a Hall of Famer. I'd put him
I think so. He's probably number 3 of the last, decade or so. Off the top of my head, I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but Mike Evans is just not. He has longevity, the annual consistency.
He's a longevity guy. He's just gonna
longevity guy. That frustrates me because I think the NFL Hall of Fame, and this is not just a Mike Evans take, I think the NFL Hall of Fame, if these longevity guys are going to make it in, is heading in a terrible direction because it's just a different sport than it was 20 years ago. And all these quarterbacks have the passing numbers now. All these receivers are going to have the receiving numbers. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan. Ryan has the MVP. He's going to make it. I think Matt Ryan should be nowhere near the Hall of Fame. I don't think Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame. And now all these guys are going to have a case. And, you have the Joe Montana, the Tom Brady, the Peyton Manning. Oh, my bad. I got carried away.
Brother. Yeah, it's all good, man.
You have all these all-time greats. And then right next to them, you're going to have Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan. I love Stafford. He was on that list until he got the Super Bowl. But I think it's a sad thing for the NFL.
Yeah, you're just going to be putting in just too many just kind of just what the maybe kind of guys, and then you're just going to get to where then everyone's going to want to get in that's borderline.
Right? Once you allow the first one in, now all of the guys who are going to have slightly better numbers, slightly more passing yards for a guy who's never been top 5 in his career, but is, he played 20 years and he's top 15 all time passing yards. Now they're all going to be getting in, and it's going to be a disaster, really.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, let's get
Would
back
you
on
like
track
to
here.
explain the Najee pick? As
Yeah,
I was
I
going to
was about to say,
say.
yeah, the Najee pick was a little different. I thought about taking a QB with that pick because they had a few good ones left, but I decided to go Najee here because I think in Arthur Smith's system, he's going to have a nice year. And it's a contract year there for Najee. He's got to put up this season or else he's not going to get a second contract that's worth anything. So I think with him being motivated and being in a better offense, he'll produce safe, steady RB2 numbers. I've given up hope on him ever being an RB1, especially with Jalen Warren there now. But at this price point, I'm like, I'll take it because it's one of those things to where there's not much. It is kind of that RB dead zone. And so I feel like Najee at this point is just a little bit safer than some of the younger guys. I could have got there, like a Jonathan Brooks, because, I mean, someone like that probably end up more of a bust. So, because, it's floor, bro. It's a floor pick. It's not a sexy pick, but it's one of those things where I'll take chances in the mid to late rounds on some rookies or younger backs. Like, I feel like for my first 2 backs, I like to have some stability there, and I think Najee's a pretty stable pick.
I love Reed. I really wanted him.
Oh, damn. Yeah, Jaden Reed, bro. Yeah, Jaden Reed, Keenan Allen was there. Yeah, there's a lot of those like WR3 types. And I took Scary Terry in the 5th. Some may have thought that was a reach, but I just really like Scary Terry this year in that he's gonna finally have a legit QB throwing it to him this year. And Jaden Daniels, man. Jaden Daniels is a freaking stud. I mean, watching him at LSU last year, I mean, that kid's a difference maker. I think Terry is in for a career year this year.
I was counting on Reed. So now I'm deep in thought here. As you said about Najee, I feel it's a floor pick. I'm higher on Warren personally.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I like Warren too. I think they'll both do well.
My first pick, I'm taking Kyler. Very high on him this year. Damn, no Jaden Reed. Got sniped right in front of me. Looking at Brooks, I like Zach Moss. With Chase Brown, he's been getting a lot of rumblings. That's a little worrying to me. I was higher on Moss, I think, a couple weeks ago. What do you make of Rashee Rice? Like I think he is so difficult.
Oh man, yeah, I was about to say you brought him up. I was hoping he'd slip back to me in the 7th at the 7.5. So if you take him here, I'll have to just tip my hat because I think with the recent reports, I don't think he's gonna get as much of a suspension as they were initially thinking.
I'm gonna go.
He's risky
Deontay
though.
Johnson here.
Okay, so, Deontay is definitely the safer pick.
Right, he's a safer pick. Rice, it's so hard to assess because 3-4 games fine, but once you get into 6 territory, I just don't know what to make of him. I was really relying on Reed there, but yeah, going back to Najee, I was big on him the year he was a first round pick, and I thought he was the safest running back on the board pretty much, and then he busted. But where you got him, I like him. I think he's gonna give you borderline top 20 numbers for sure. But I like Warren a bit more for the upside.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Let's see where I'm at right here. Because, I think that system is going to be good for both guys. It'd be a good 2-back system. So, yeah, I'm going to decide what I'm going to do here. I got 2 running backs, so I'm probably not going to mess with a third just yet. I might just go with Rashee right here because I feel like it's a pretty good price point for him. Although the QBs, man, and you got Kyler. So it's like I could go with a QB, but I'll just keep waiting. I'll take the gamble on, as we called him last week, Rashee, because he's only my 4th receiver. So
yeah, I took a tight end and a QB already. So I have 2 running backs, 3 receivers, very balanced roster. I think. Yeah, my depth might be a bit shaky, but I like that decision by you. I wouldn't have taken a quarterback there either. Dak's my highest guy on the board, but I think Dak, Love, Burrow, Purdy. You have a lot of guys here who you're getting similar production from. So I think I like if you're high on Rice, you don't think he's gonna get the suspension, which is probably accurate at this point. I think you made the right decision going with an upside play in Rashi, because there will be quarterbacks who make it back to you.
Right. Yeah, because there definitely will be, I'm sure, because he's still got a lot of those QB1s out there. So taking Kyler at the end of the 6th, are you thinking that with Marv Jr. that Kyler could be poised for a top 5 type season?
Yes, I am. I think I had him ranked 6th, I want to say. But I think high floor, high upside. Again, he's another one of those guys. You have Marv there now. Trey McBride's another guy. They don't have great options after them, but he has his rushing prowess. And I think he came back last year. No one really knew when he was going to return. He comes back. He was productive in fantasy. He had a few nice 20-point games, and now with the full off season to really get back into full health, with improved weapons, I really like Kyler this year. I'd much rather have Kyler where I got him. I think that's pick 72 instead of a guy like Lamar, 3 rounds earlier. Or especially people take Allen at the end of the 2nd and the 3rd. I usually prefer waiting on a quarterback, and Kyler in the mid rounds there is one of my favorite targets this year.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I could get on board with it. Yeah, they keep falling. Oh, there goes one, Dak Prescott. It's so funny how that works. A lot of times I'm like thinking like, oh man, they're just gonna keep falling. I'm gonna get Dak and 8th, but then it's like a lot of times like it's like a wavelength thing, and it's like someone's on the same wave as me, and I'm like, damn it, like
A
it's
big
just
part of that is one goes, and then they all kind of start going.
I know, right? Yeah, I
People get
might just
scared.
have to wait crazy late because I have to. Well, I don't know though, because other than pick 11 here, everyone else has their QB, so I should still be able to get somebody pretty good with the 8th round, with my 8th round pick, because like picks 2 and 3 don't have one, so I'll probably get one if I had to guess with the 8th pick, because they do have a couple really good ones left. I feel like it's just like man, if they fall to me, I feel really good. But these RB3s, it's kind of as they say, the RB dead zone. But if some of
Absolutely.
these ones left fall to me, I'll also be tempted to go that direction, because at least for having Kelsey, you don't have to worry about tight end. And I got 4 receivers, so I'm pretty secure with that.
Yeah, these RBs are looking rough. What do you make of Chubb this year? I have no idea how to like. I think he'll come back at some point. I don't think he's gonna be the same as he was. I don't. What do you make of him?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I think he's someone that I'm not gonna mess with unless I can get him dirt cheap. It's one of those things
I feel
where
that.
I have no clue if he's gonna get back to being his old self. If he does, though, he'll be an amazing value. If he doesn't, he'll just be a complete bust. I see him being just kind of boomer bust. Like, I don't really see a whole lot of in between with him. So he's someone that if we can get him as a 3rd running back, I'm not that mad at it. Ideally as a 4th, but even as a 3rd, I'm not mad at it, because it's like, as long as you have 2 kind of steady backs, like if he would fall to me here, I might consider it. Damn, there goes Jay Love. That was one of the ones. That was one of the ones I had in mind for sure.
Murph Dog sniped my. I was hoping Singletary or Brooks would fall to me. The running back depth here is rough, and I have 2 guys, so that's going to be a big flaw in my team, running back depth.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you got to try to get the right ones in like the 10th, 11th, 12th round, and then trying to identify different ones. I'm not gonna lie, I had Kendre Miller as one of my ones there, but the recent reports, I'm kind of soured on Kendre Miller. I mean, Dennis Allen normally doesn't call players out like this, but he literally called out Kendre Miller and said, if he keeps this much time in the training room, then he won't even see the field. I'm like,
Oh my
man.
God.
Basically,
trying to light a fire, maybe.
Yeah, Dennis
That's very
Allen,
blunt.
that guy is him trying to light a fire does not come easy. He's definitely not a natural born leader, that's for sure. My gosh, his press conferences are nightmarish, especially after coming off Sean Payton. Like Sean Payton was the ultimate rah rah guy, and then you get Dennis Allen, who's just like, yeah, we just gotta get back at it and clean things up. Like, keep doing what we're doing. Keep chopping wood.
Exactly. Chop wood, carry water. The
Yeah,
coach
he's
talk.
so ridiculous with the coach speaking. Here we go, y'all. Y'all let me have him, man. Y'all really let me get Joe Shiesty to pair with Jamar Chase in the 8th, man. Like, y'all, I had to do it. Like, that's too obvious.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
There goes Chubb, If it wasn't for the Burrow thing, like if Burrow had gotten sniped, I probably would have gone Chubb right there and had him as my 3. But I just, I just feel like the Shiesty was a slam dunk right there.
Yeah, at this point, like, I think I have Caleb ranked above Burrow actually, but I do think I was a little cool on Burrow for a while. I'm a little bit higher on him now. I think the offense. I think Higgins is gonna help. I think he's gonna bounce back this year. Contract year again, but I think this is really it for him. If he stays healthy, it's gonna give Burrow a second guy. So Burrow should be solid unless he's safe. I think you generally, if he's healthy, you know what you're gonna get. What I'm looking at is a guy like Ingram going in the middle of the 8th round. That's
so
crazy
insane.
steal. And that almost makes me regret. I mean, listen, he didn't come back to me, but
Right.
you
taking
take a
tight
guy
end
like
early when you can
Kincaid
get a guy like that so
Kincaid at
late.
49, Kelsey at mid-second, Ingram going 8th. You look at that and you're like, oh, I would have been better off solidify, especially when depth's going to be a problem, like it is for me right now. I might have been better off securing that extra running back or extra receiver instead of and then snagging Ingram this late. Because I would have even taken him early 7, honestly.
For sure. Yeah, let's what RBs you have your eye on right here? Because I'm sure you're gonna probably go with an RB3.
Yeah. I have 2 in my queue I'm debating between. I think I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson. I think he's the guy.
I'm not mad at that.
I think he's the guy there, and not Eckler. Yeah. I'm not worried about Eckler.
Yeah,
he'll catch balls, of course, but he's washed, respectfully. So, and Zeke, I was considering. Listen, right now he's the guy, but Benson's a high upside guy, but he's not going to play much unless something happens to Connor. But I think B-Rob is definitely the best option on the board.
Yeah, I can shout out to my guys that do the morning show with Heart to Start JD and Bogart Scott Free. They're both very high on B-Rob. I wasn't as high, but they've convinced me to move him up some in my ranking. So in that RB dead zone range, he's definitely someone that could just be it's just kind of like a pretty good floor guy because he's someone that's going to get early down work and goal line work. So I think Eckler might steal some of Eckler's been able to do goal line work well with the Chargers, but him being a little older, it's like, yeah, I could see him just being more just like a gadget piece and not really much of a threat. Yeah.
And then Zeke. I'll pair him with Zeke. He was the other guy I was considering. As of now, he's the RB1 in Dallas. At the very least, he's gonna get the touchdowns, the early down work. He caught passes, he was fine for New England last year.
Oh, they took Gus Bus. Damn it. That's who I had my eye on.
I think it's an RB4. I'm happy with Zeke, and that gives me more confidence in my running back depth. I was looking at a couple receivers there, but for my second pick. But I think get my now I have 4 running backs, all of which I think are going to be involved, and I can relax now on the running backs. I think there's deeper receiver options out there. But looking at the tight ends available, this is crazy to me.
Yeah, they just no one wants them, man. They just keep stacking their
depth.
This
is so rare. You always see
people that waiting on that and are really holding out, and I can respect it because it's like I don't really see the point, and there's no point in reaching on an Njoku.
When it works, it works. Listen, I like Ferguson a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say, was Ferguson? No, Ferguson's still there. Man, someone's gonna get him dirt cheap.
Yeah, if I can go back in time, I'm taking Aaron Jones or Kamara, where I took Kincaid, and I'm sniping.
Yeah, Kamara would have been nice. Right
I think Ferguson's gonna have a really nice year. He's the number 2 option in Dallas.
Another year. Fergie's that if he's kind of like him and Evan Ingram are probably my favorite mid-range tight end ones.
Yeah, Ingram's gonna be nice too.
Yeah, because I'm not as high on Njoku because of Watson back. Like Njoku really thrived with Flacco.
I agree.
So at Watson, we don't know.
He's so hit or miss.
Yeah, outside of Cooper, I mean, I don't trust Judy. I don't trust Elijah Moore. Yeah, can't really trust it with Watson, man. Watson still looks shaky.
I agree.
All right,
Ingram's
back
a
to
guy. He was on the Giants. He drove me insane. He goes to Jacksonville, and all of a sudden, he's good.
yeah, but yeah, he's got more consistency. Seems to have corrected his drops
He
problem.
catches the ball now,
Yep.
and he stayed on the field.
Yeah,
Chase Brown.
I'm gonna go with the Chase Brown. You know, I've been liking the recent reports. You know, he's been working with the ones a good amount, and he can catch. So I'll take the chance. You know, it's just one of those days. I was wanting Gus Bus, but let's be real. There's really no trustworthy options here. You just have to go with some speculative guys. And I think Chase Brown in that system. I'm looking at very Bengals heavy. Gonna try not to take any more Bengals the rest of the way. I don't want too many eggs in that one basket. But I mean, hey, with a healthy Burrow, that's one of the best baskets you can ask for in fantasy.
And especially at this point, you know, like I said earlier, I was higher on Moss, but now a lot of positive reports have been coming out about Brown, so I've kind of backed away from Moss. But yeah, he's a guy. He could break some big plays, be involved in the passing game, long yardage work. I like Brown here.
Good deal. Yeah, we still got 5 rounds to go, so we still got a few more depth spots to fill out. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in here on the Guru Nation podcast Mock Draft Monday. We do this each and every week here on the channel, and we promote it on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram at Spencer the Guru to get the info on when the drafts are and when to sign up. So Tajay Spears, man, I was thinking about him or Jerome Ford, both pretty good value picks. Man, I kind of wish I had taken Tajay, man. I think Tajay could have a nice season. You know, Tony Pollard ain't really that special, where I think Tajay Spears by the end of the year could be their RB1.
You think I'm very torn between the two of them. I think they're kind of similar players in a way. I like how Tennessee is completely changing its identity.
Yeah,
they want to throw the ball this year. I think it's very clear.
Brian Callahan. Yeah, they're gonna sling it.
I'm excited to see that. I think Will Levis is very underrated as a player. He's not a guy I'm looking at in fantasy, but I think in the right circumstances, he's talented. I'm
super flex. I'm looking at him
to see what Tennessee does this year. But yeah, Spears and Pollard, I have really no way to decipher between the two of them. I think they're similar. I don't really know who's going to be in what role. Because why pay Pollard if you're not going to use him, right? Like, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's one of those things like because they're going to be throwing a lot. The backfield's kind of so that's why it's like with Cincy, like they're going to be a little more. They're a more proven offense, So that's why I probably gave the edge to Chase Brown. They were close. So I went with him. Jerome Ford, another one I was considering with Nick Chubb being so shaky. Jerome Ford could end up being that dude over there. And then a lot of these young receivers I was thinking about because I only have 4 receivers.
I was looking
JSN and Brian Thomas. Yeah, I like both of them. And then Brock Bowers actually went at a reasonable price tonight. Normally Brock Bowers gets reached on, but 10th round, like I'm okay with that because Bowers does have a lot of upside.
This Murph dog, I like his team. As a Giants fan,
he's one of our regulars.
Neighbors at the end of the third is a little optimistic, I think. I would have taken I would have taken more. I would have taken DK, but other than that pick, it's a very interesting team. But he's taken a lot of my guys, so that's a very interesting team to look at, and I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, they got Trey Benson went there. Yeah, Murph Dog. I think Murph Dog could be a good team.
So, a lot of upside.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's one of our regulars. So yeah, and then for those that are regulars on this show, and the last Monday before the season, we will be having a real league here on the Guru Nation channel, a real league with real money, with real people. But all the Mock Draft Monday regulars gave out our first spot last week to B-Man, so I might have to give out another spot tonight. Y'all stay tuned.
I like this.
Go ahead, bro.
A StreamYard. I've never heard of it before, but it's very like
it's dope, man.
It's very effective. I get it's useful. I don't know how this works. My only streams have been IG Live. This is very cool.
Yeah, I say IG Live, man. That was my thing in like 2020 with COVID. But once I got this StreamYard, I was just getting it. I was like, man, I'm gonna try to build my YouTube channel because it just
Right?
looks so
Share
much
the
more
screen.
professional than
Absolutely.
IG Live. IG Live is just like I'm hoping. I got a TikTok going. I'm hoping to build that up to where I can do TikTok live eventually. But I think you got to have 1,000 followers to be able to
Really.
go live on TikTok. Yeah, and I'm not anywhere close. So yeah, follow on TikTok. Damn it, follow on
Follow
TikTok,
him on
y'all.
TikTok.
Spencer the Guru. Yeah, we're putting out content on there. Yeah, y'all, please follow me so I don't have to become one of them damn clout chasers that's begging people for money and dancing. So yeah, let's build this up organically for the love of fantasy. Hell yeah! So yeah, they be wilding on TikTok, man. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother world over
Oh
there.
yeah.
Let's see what I'm gonna do right here. I guess I'll go with a fifth receiver. They've got some pretty good options here. I am gonna take. I think that Packers receiving room is pretty wide open. Although, man, Josh Palmer, I think could be a steal, and he normally I'm probably gonna take him a little higher than consensus. But I just think Lad McConkey's getting all the attention, but Josh Palmer, I think, could be sneaky good because I don't think Justin Herbert's just gonna go away. I still think Herbert's gonna be a decent passer, even in Jim Harbaugh's offense. And I think Palmer is gonna be a steady option there that people are just, yeah, he's not a flashy option, but with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams there, you talked about vacated targets earlier, Beast. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Josh Palmer is going to absorb a lot of those vacated targets and be a sneaky good flex play a lot of weeks.
That's fair. And also Eckler being gone is underrated for those vacated targets.
Yeah, and Eckler. Yeah, I think that's what their top three in targets
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
all gone. So Josh Palmer, y'all need to wake up on Josh Palmer. I've been waking up more lately because a lot of times he'll go like the 12th round. So I was like, man, I need to
Yeah.
pull him up higher here. We need to push his ADP up because it's one of those things to where if I don't know what the industry was thinking with him. I think they just say, oh, Jim Harbaugh, he's just going to run the ball 50 times a game. But he doesn't have a Derrick Henry type back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Bus, they're hype, but they're not all pro running backs. So and at Herbert, I mean, Herbert's still the best player on that team by a mile.
No, that's fair. I'm a Lad McConkey guy personally, but
Yeah, I like Lad.
It can be multiple guys.
Yeah,
like
he
Curtis
just goes. Where did he go? Yeah, 7th round. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Curtis. Yeah, Curtis is interesting. Oh, he went. I was like, that's who you're gonna go with.
No,
But
I was disappointed he went. I don't know who I want now.
Yeah, I thought about him. I was thinking about him or one other guy. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and hope that my other guy falls back to me. Yeah. Ooh, I got a player. I got a few running backs that are like, oh, Big Mike Williams. Okay.
I've never really taken. I think. Listen, either Rodgers is healthy and he's Rodgers, or he's not. And if he is,
yeah,
Williams is gonna. They have him for a reason. I think. He could be a guy who's on waivers by week 3, or you never know.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, you kind of just take a stab.
Exactly.
Take a stab because that's either your 5th receiver, I think. Oh, 4th. Oh, okay. Yeah, your receiver, definitely. I might want to keep stacking that here, I would think, because you don't want to be reliant upon Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm.
In case one of your big 3 would get hurt.
Yeah, I think underrated Khalil Shakir. I think he's a guy who
I like that.
Has some ability. I think Allen trusts him a bit. He has the rapport with him. Samuel and Coleman are both new. Shakir's been there, so I'm not gonna say I love my wide receiver 4 and 5, but at this point, you're looking for anything.
Yeah, you just gotta get what you can get. I'll be real. I'm not a big fan of the Big Mike pick because I think he's just gonna be like the MVS for Rodgers, and we all know MVS is not a reliable fantasy option, but maybe he could be a little more than that. So I mean, there could be some hope for him because with the Chargers, he was very relevant. But and Shakir, though, I really like Shakir there. That was a good pick.
Yeah, I think I was considering Mitchell.
Yeah, Adnan Mitchell's interesting. I need to queue him up.
Williams is the type of guy.
In case I get sniped.
If in the unfortunate situation where I need one of these replacement receivers, hopefully the week I throw in Mike Williams is the week he goes for a 70-yard touchdown. Because either he's even in with the Chargers before the injuries and with Herbert as a featured option, he was very inconsistent. So
Facts.
that's just kind of who he
Good
is.
basketball play.
Right? Yeah, he is a good basketball guy. But if he could stay healthy and Rodgers is healthy, you never know.
Yeah, a lot of ifs, but at this point, everyone's just kind of an if.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Chuba Hubbard right here, y'all, because he's getting slept on a lot. He's gonna be the starting running back there. I think he's a guy that second half probably won't be much. I think Brooks will eventually take over, but for the first half, I think Chuba could be a very strong flex because last year I was kind of in a dire straits in a league with running back, and I picked Chuba. He was off waivers. And even though the offense was kind of ass, like he was getting his, like he was getting yardage. Yeah. Like, and if Dave Canales makes the offense better, which I mean it's gotta be better by default. I mean, they hit rock bottom last year. So Chuba, I think, could be pretty damn solid, especially those first 4 to 6 weeks, to where I'll gladly take him as my 4 at and that's a scarce position.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick at all. I think he was definitely the best running back on the board. And like I agree. I like Brooks. I think Brooks is going to come in. But if he doesn't, then Chuba's the guy. And Brooks, a rookie coming off an injury, Chuba's not a bad guy to take a flyer on.
100%. So yeah, I was thinking maybe a rookie there or Kendrick. I'm soured on Kendrick Miller after hearing the recent reports. I'm just like, and then the Jamal Williams been getting reps. Like I was like, he was kind of bad last year, but if he's healthy, like it's kind of. And then with the Saints, man, I'm just kind of like, I was listening to a local Saints show today, and the callers are already negative. I'm like, damn, the season's a month and a half away, and people are already just like, Dennis Allen sucks, Derek Carr sucks, Mickey, get rid of it, it's blowing up. I'm like, hey, I mean, I ain't taking a snap, and y'all are already blasting them. My God. I miss Drew
are you optimistic?
I miss Drew Brees.
Who doesn't miss Drew Brees?
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe if you weren't a Saints fan, you gotta love Drew Brees for fantasy, man, throwing 5,000 a year, like.
Of course.
And it was so wild how people disrespected him the past few years, Drew Brees, because it's like, yeah, he wasn't really throwing the deep ball anymore, but he was still getting, like with Kamara and Mike Thomas, they were getting yak yards, where he was still putting up solid fantasy seasons, but everyone kept saying, oh, noodle arm. And now look at him. Now you're stuck with Derek Carr.
Right.
I take noodle arm Drew Brees any day over Derek Carr.
I think so too.
Yep. So, but yeah, hopefully, maybe if they suck bad enough, they could tank for either Shador or Arch Manning.
Arch Manning, is he?
That'd be the New Orleans dream scenario.
Oh, that's true. Manning, he's not this year, right? He's next year, right?
Yeah, he's next year. Yeah, and that would be because Quinn Ewers is going to get drafted this year, and then when Quinn Ewers graduates, Archie's staying at Texas. He didn't transfer, so then he'll get his shot. And if he does really well, as I think he'd be a redshirt sophomore that year, he'd be a redshirt sophomore, and it'd be 3 years, so he could come out theoretically. So if he'd really slay, as a redshirt sophomore, he could come out.
That'd be something.
2026 draft, I think that'd be.
Listen, maybe he could even follow Eli's footsteps. You never know. Giants are going to be needing a quarterback soon.
Yeah,
I think this is it for Jones. So
yeah, y'all might get Shador, bro. Because I think the Saints will probably still win 7 or 8. Where the Giants, y'all look pretty rough. Like most power rankings have y'all near the bottom. Where y'all might get Shador.
I think
or whoever, Quinn Ewers.
I think the Giants are going to be a little bit better. Then if Jones stays healthy, I don't even know who their backup is. Oh, it's Locke. So I guess he's capable.
Drew Lock, yeah.
It's I think they're gonna be a little better than people think. I think their defense is gonna be. Their secondary is a little rough, specifically the safeties, but I think their defensive line is gonna be phenomenal.
Oh yeah, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau,
yeah. And Dex.
Yep, Dex. Yep.
The offense is gonna be rough, but
tank for Noah. 50. I think that's probably the Arizona quarterback, Ori, the Arizona guy. Arizona's they've got a really good offense.
Dude, listen, tank for Kyle McCord from Cuse, the transfer.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was reading about Q's. I heard they're doing a spread. They're doing a spread offense now at the Q. The Q's used to be a real old school run heavy, but they're trying to completely revamp it. They hired who I think it was Pat Shermer as their OC or
they did
someone with an NFL background. Yeah, you're in the Northeast,
I
right?
have no excuse not to know that. Yeah, I'm gonna be a senior.
Who is the guy? Oh, his name's Jeff Nixon. And I think I'm pretty sure he's a guy that that they're gonna try to have more of a balanced attack because his Q's used to be very unbalanced.
Yeah. Listen, never know. We had a nice run, not this past year, but the year before. We were ranked. We started 6-0. And then I think we lost every single game after that. But it was a great run. You know, we had a crazy win over Purdue. Then we played Clemson on the road. We were 6-0. We played Clemson on the road. Should have won. Former coach Dino Babers, terrible coaching the game. The refs screwed us at a point. It was, I'm complaining
back
as a
on the clock,
fan,
bro.
but it was a rough loss, and then everything unraveled after that. With this pick, so I have 5 receivers. I have 4 running backs. I'm going to handcuff Bijan here. I think that's just
that's smart. I could have maybe taken Algier. I took Ty Chandler, but I'm pretty high on Ty Chandler because Aaron Jones, I think, is going to inevitably get hurt. So.
Like I'm as high as I am on Jones. That's always a very big concern. I think Algier, the handcuff there's a no-brainer. And then a couple options here. I'm between 2 guys.
Pause. Sorry, boys in the chat ain't getting. I guess they. I don't know what happened. I guess they went on TikTok.
Maybe. Give me Brandon Cooks. I don't love my depth on either side. I'm a little more worried about my receiver depth. So, Wicks can be a guy, but I'll take Cooks. He can be Dallas's WR2, and if he turns into something, I like him as a wide receiver 5.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where he's not a flashy pick, but it's a good offense, and he's a veteran. Dino Babers, OC at Arizona now.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, he's cooking up something good over there. Then, man, they I don't know. I guess because he had an old school Syracuse, is but at Arizona, though, he's with the times because it's they're in the Big 12, going to the Big 12, and they're expected to have the best offense in the whole conference, I think. Now that Texas is in the SEC, Texas and Oklahoma, so they're thinking that the arms race is going to be Arizona, Colorado, and I forgot who else. They have and Kansas and Kansas State, I think, are both supposed to have good offenses, and Oklahoma State, but they're more running offenses, not as much of passing offenses.
All this realignment is going to be crazy to see.
Oh, it's insane!
It really
bro.
come to the surface and be it's a different sport.
Yeah, it really is. It's now the Power 4 now, and then it's all these just mega conferences where you're just the scheduling doesn't really look that much different right now because you still have a lot of these big schools still do rental wins. I'm excited though because I'm thinking with all this extra money generated, I don't think they're gonna have to worry about those rental wins anymore, which unfortunately is going to hurt those smaller schools. But I think eventually the big schools, it's going to be to where they only play each other. Like LSU is no longer going to play Southeastern Louisiana or Nicholls State. Those days I think are going to be over because they won't need to anymore. It's they'll be at that point they'll be just and it's they'll be making so much where they're going to want to just. It's a gauntlet, but it's you're going to have to play the tough schedule in order to make your case for the playoff. Because if you didn't play anyone, it's just because you have a lot of wins, you're not guaranteed to get in if you play the soft schedule. So.
And then the ACC, is just bizarre. You have Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, it's not, geography means nothing anymore. It's
so
become like
so
the
stupid.
NFL. It's even
Yeah.
worse. I mean, the NFL is pretty goofy how you have the Cowboys and NFC East, but it's really it's just completely absurd when you've literally got a West Coast team in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
I mean, they're making, the 20-year-olds on Stanford travel across the country. It's just
That's the sucky part about it. It's same with
crazy,
Cal
dude.
Berkeley, like those schools. It's like their travel is just it'd be, especially it's like, well, football is one thing, and if you have NIL, it's cool. But if you're an athlete on like something that's just like, I don't know, some obscure sport like water polo or golf or something, man, that feel for people like that, because it's like you want to try to keep it going, but you're asking so much out of if you're just a true student athlete that's not getting NIL and having to balance the school work, athletics, and that's just you get burn out, bro.
Just the regular walk-ons.
Yeah, man, it makes it just it's like it's a brutal cycle, man. It's a brutal cycle to where it's just like, I mean, it's cool like for TV and for video, NCAA 25 and all that. It's fun, but for real life though, it's like you make all these big changes and there's gonna be ripple effects, man.
I agree.
We'll see how it ends up, but yeah, it's like, because as someone that covers like the smaller scene, like the high school and like University of New Orleans, it's like, it's like you want to make sure you preserve like the stuff like that. You don't want that stuff to just become like to where there's no money in it, and you don't want to bleed the stuff dry that's like helping feed the big colleges, because then if you do that, then the development system then it gets screwed up, and then it's gonna just the on-field product's gonna suffer.
Speaking of development too, but now transferring people every year, players are transferring, one school to the next, and you never used to see this, and I think it's worse. It's good the players are getting paid. Listen, but I feel like there might have been a happy medium that they kind of blew past, and now this is where we are.
Yeah, it went from like,
0 to
they weren't getting anything and having to do all these under the table deals. So now it's just like Arch Manning signs with Nike for over $1 million. Caitlin Clark signs with this and that. It's just like it's so insane. And even ones that like Livy Dunn, someone that's like almost just because she just has a pretty face and she's getting like $1 million NIL deal. It's like, oh my God, man, this shit's just gotten out of hand.
It's crazy.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, this is the world we're living in. Oh, they took Jalen Polk, man. I was thinking, I'll take the other Patriots guy, Pop Douglas, in honor of my boy Andrew Roberts, he's at the Red Sox game tonight. He's one of our regulars, but couldn't make it. He's at old Fenway Park, which I got to experience Fenway for the first time this summer. That was a good time.
I like Fenway a lot. I honestly, Fenway itself, I was a little underwhelmed, but I like Boston a lot. That's what I'll say.
For sure,
and I'm
man.
I'm a Yankees fan, so
Oh, okay, yeah. You're from the New York, like the New York State.
I'm from Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. Okay, yeah. I was about to say I was in the Northeast this summer. I went and explored. I went to the Subway Series at Citi Field.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did too. Wait, which game did you go to?
It was on a Wednesday night. It was, I think, Thursday was.
Did you see Judge hit a grand slam?
No, he hit a home run though. The Mets killed him. The Yankees had a bad game that game.
Okay. Yes, the Yankees lost when I was at too. But
was there a big rain delay when you went?
No.
Oh, okay. We're at different games then.
Okay. You make the trip and there's a rain delay.
Oh, it was insane, man. I was like, man, I feel like I'm back in the South. It was like pouring rain, like massive wind. I was like, well, there's like a hurricane in here right now. Of course, yeah, I come from the South and I bring the crazy weather to New York.
Of course. That's Mr. Irrelevant here. I think I'm going to go easy pick, Kirk Cousins.
I like that.
I backup quarterback to Kyler. I like it a lot.
Yep. Oh, Andrew's happy then. Red Sox demolished the Mariners. Oh, Ari's a Mariners fan. Damn. They all been wheeling and dealing at the deadline, man. Y'all just got Justin Turner, Randy Arozarena.
Yeah.
So good time to be a Mariners fan. And Gator fan, you're in luck, man. We're going to grade each team on a scale of 1 to 10. So you down for grades, Beast?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
assume Gator fan. That's he's a FFV follower, Josh. I assume that's
yeah,
Tebow
which
fan
team?
in the
Oh,
mock.
Tebow fan.
I think
Okay.
that would make the most sense.
Okay, we went 12-1 last time. So let's go 1-12 this time. So we'll break down Beast
Okay.
teams first and get to
Okay.
Tebow fan. All right, so the Beast here shocked the world with Bijan at 101. Follow that up with wait, what we did? We've been doing letter grades. How do you usually do letter grades or 1 to 10 when you do? Because I know you do these mocks a lot.
I don't often give him a grade. I'll
Oh, you
like
usually don't
assess my
grade them.
team, but yeah. So whatever you want to do.
Okay, I guess what we've been
I think
doing
let's
the
do 1 to
letter
10.
grades is.
Oh,
Oh, you like 1 to 10? Okay,
I feel
hey,
like
let's just
I feel like
change it up. Let's
1 to
change it.
10.
Yeah.
I have a better like perception of what's what.
Yeah, because fives. Yeah, because sometimes with grades, you're like kind of like, well, what's average?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
C.
You can use
Yeah,
some
so yeah,
decimals too.
yeah. You can do 0.5. Yeah, well, with the grades, minus plus. Yeah, let's do the number system tonight. That's what I said initially. I'll keep my word. All right, so Bijan, Pittman, Pacheco, Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid, Kyler, Deontay, B-Rob, Zeke, Mike Williams, Khalil Shakir, Tyler Algier, Brandon Cooks, and Kirk Cousins to cap it off.
Would you like to start?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll just kind of processing it here. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
took Bijan 1, bold, obviously, but I really like the Pacheco. The Pacheco is RB2. That's great. I love Pacheco
I
this
agree.
season. Depth might be a little shaky, but you got the handcuff with Algier. That was crucial. Got that on lock. And then B-Rob and Zeke. Like B-Rob, not that big on Zeke, but overall backfield pretty good. Took Kyler a little high for my taste, but got a good backup with Kirk Cousins. The receiver room, Pittman, I think solid, but as a 1, a little shaky. Although you pick 212, there's just not a whole lot else there. But Pittman, I think solid. Cooper also solid. Deontay, not a big Mike Williams fan, but like Shakir. And then Cooks kind of is what he is, but not bad for a redraft. And then Kincaid is tied in 1. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Took a lot of chances, but it could work out. I think it's slightly above average. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. So I'm assuming a 5 is average.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's I believe this is the first mock I've done from the 1 spot this year. And it's also, it's a tough spot. You're reaching for your guys if you want them. I don't love the team, admittedly. I think Pittman at 24, he's a guy, and I like Pittman. He's my wide receiver 11, I believe, but he's a 3rd round guy for me, and I had to take him in the early 2nd. The receivers flew off the board, and I knew I was taking Pacheco. I think that was one of my better picks. And then there, it's Pittman, Ayuk, Evans, all of them. It's just a little early for me, but I wanted a receiver there. So he's my highest ranked. I agree it's a little early. It would have been nice to get like a Drake London. Although honestly, even London. I think the same way. If Marvin's not going to drop, Marvin's a guy who maybe people get scared off by the fact he's a rookie, and if he doesn't drop, I think it's a tough spot for receivers. I think you're likely reaching, if you want one there. But I'm okay with it. Bijan, Pittman, Pacheco. I like Cooper a lot. I think he's being a bit undervalued this year. I think he's just, as long as he's healthy, you know what you're going to get. He's going to give you a top 20 season. He's going to have his bad games. He's going to have his huge games. Kincaid, I love. In hindsight, considering Ingram went mid-8, Ferguson went like the 10th, maybe I would have waited, but I'm not going to complain about getting my guy. I'm high on Kyler. Deontay, I think he's a safe wide receiver 3. Ultimately, I think I have Pittman as my 1. I have him ranked as a low 1. Cooper I have ranked as a low 2, and he's my 2. Deontay's a mid 3. It's just my receiving room is pretty average, is the way I would put it. I like the B-Rob and Zeke picks. I was worried about my running back depth, and I think I shorted up with them. But then after that, it got very tough, I would say. I don't like my receiver depth at all. After the first 3 are okay, and then Mike Williams and Shakir, it's just Cooks. These are all guys who if this was a real league, they're probably ending up on waivers. Algier is a nice handcuff, and I like Kirk at the end. But you gave it a 6 out of 10. I think I would give it like a 6.5.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we're on the
Yeah, I
same
mean,
page.
yeah, you
I
got a
don't
lot of
hate
your
it, but
guys.
I got some of my guys, but there's a lot of reaching. I don't like my depth. Usually, I come out of these mocks, and if nothing else, I like my depth, and it was kind of the opposite here. So could have been better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it was just like, this is my thing. Like looking back on it, like, and I think if I have 101 next mock or one of these coming mocks, like I think as of now, like CD is my 101 because I'll take CD there, and then I won't even have to worry about taking a
Yeah.
receiver to 212. Then I could grab theoretically like Pacheco and Kelsey. Well, Kelsey didn't make. Who could have got Pacheco and Ayuk? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or just like
Even
taking or Pittman, could have done what you did, but I just like CD, like just having that just rock solid
No,
WR1.
I feel that. It's very interesting because a lot of the time I'm very big on solidify your running back early. There's plenty more receivers. But if you're at the very beginning of your draft,
Receivers dry up, man. Yeah.
at that 2-3 turn, I think you're getting way better value in the running backs than you are in the receivers. So it's an interesting, as high as it might be on, I have no opposition to taking Lamb there. And then, like for me, it would have been Pacheco and James Cook. I think that's a great running back duo to then pair with CeeDee Lamb. I think that's a better trio than the one I got here. So it's interesting.
For sure. Let's move on. I think this is Tebow. Okay, Gator fan 15, Tebow fan. Yep, there it makes sense.
Yes.
Boom, there it is. All right, Tebow. What you got? Tebow, CMC, Henry. All right, so the old school running back duo. And Mike Evans, Mark Andrews, going a lot of older guys, but got some youth right here. Tank Dell and Jaden Reed, another old cat, Raheem Mostert. Brock Purdy is his QB. Gus Bus, Tyler Lockett. Caleb is a backup, not bad. Marshawn Lloyd, Dontavian Wicks, and Javon Baker.
I like it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's QB room, young but solid. Running back room, obviously very good with the two big dogs, and then other good depth there. Very strong backfield. Receiver room, not the best, but I mean, Tank Dell and Jaden Reed both have upside. Evans is, what you're getting. Not a huge fan of depth, but you never know. Baker could pop off, and then Andrews is tied in. He's good. Yeah, this is a good team, man. I'd give it. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go. I don't know if I can go quite an 8. It's good though. I'm gonna go to a 7.5.
I that's similar to me. I was thinking like 7.2 range. Like you said, the receivers, I think you're going to get a lot of inconsistency there between
Right.
Evans, Dell, and I like Reed, but even Lockett, like
That room could be a
inconsistency.
headache.
But by the end of the year, you know where they're going to rank if they're healthy as far as season long goes. The running backs I think are very good. McCaffrey is obviously McCaffrey, and then Henry. I don't think he's going to get the volume we've seen, but I think we're going to see the best efficiency from Henry as we've seen in a long time, and the touchdowns, obviously, of course. Andrew strong, the quarterback room is strong. I like it. I like the team. Yeah, 7.2.
Cool. Wait, 7.2?
7.2.
Oh, you're going down to tenths. Okay, I see.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta be as
Sophisticated with it.
detailed as possible.
Right on, brother. All right, yeah, we get extremely detailed grades here with B. So you can't get this anywhere else. Only on the Guru Nation podcast, baby.
Follow the TikTok.
Yeah, we gotta get the TikTok up, man. We gotta get some TikTok clout, man. Oh shoot, Joseph up next here. He got CD at the 3. I like that. ETN, Ayuk, Trey McBride, Ken Walker, Jordan Addison, Lad McConkey, Hollywood Brown. Liking it so far. Herbert though a little high. I think 9.3. JK, Jared Goff though good backup like that. Troy Franklin, Dallas Goedert, Roman Wilson. It's a typical Joseph team. He's one of our regulars, and he just always has a certain position that he's thin at, and seems like in this time it's the running back room. Like, man, I like Ladd, but it's like honestly, if I'd have taken a running back instead of either Addison or Hollywood, because I mean JK and that's it. Like his backfield depth is just like it's scary. I mean, he basically got no backfield depth. Probably didn't really need a backup tight end when he had Trey McBride. Obviously, the receiver room's good, but he didn't need to do all that probably. And McBride is what he is. But this is overall a solid team. What do you think, Beast?
I agree with you. Solid team. I'm looking at like Mostert in that range. I'm not high on Addison at all this year, so I would have definitely taken a running back instead. Probably Mostert instead of Addison. I don't even think I had Addison ranked in my top 40, honestly, for receivers.
Yeah, he's gonna get popped with at least a 3-game suspension.
And I think that plus I think nobody's gonna be hurt more from the departure of Cousins than Addison is, especially if they're focusing on the short game. I really don't like Addison this year, so I would have preferred a running back there. But besides that, listen, Lamb and Ayuk, that's a very nice duo. Etienne Walker, K9's very hard for me to assess every year because I think he's extremely talented. I love him as a player, but he's not getting the receiving usage you want. And that offense, you play San Francisco twice a year, who you can't run the ball on, and they struggle against good defenses, and that hurts Walker. So as an RB2, he's iffy. He's okay, but then when you have no depth behind him, I think that's a rough room. And then, like I said, even like I like Ladd, Hollywood solid. I see Addison as pretty close to a wasted pick, to tell you the truth. I love McBride though, and the quarterback's but I would give it like high 5s, low 6s.
Oh, for sure. So about a 5.1. Yeah, I'll go a little higher. I'll go a 6 because I feel like the receivers and tight end should carry it some weeks. But yeah, the quarterback room, he's gonna have trouble knowing who to play a lot of times, and then the running back room could be tough. But yeah, he can make trades. I actually might bump it up to like between a 6 and a 6.5, like a 6.25. I'll go with that.
That's fair. I think we got off to a nice start, and then the first like 4 or 5 rounds, and then after that,
yeah. Addison gets very well. I think the thing with Rice, the latest report was saying Rice's thing might get pushed back. Remember, like with Kamara, to where like Rice's suspension might not happen until 2025, and even if it does happen in 24, it might not be for as much, like because he had 2 incidents, so he might get a like 3 games for that other incident, but I think he had another incident that was more serious. Like I think the traffic thing was worse because I think that's still ongoing. The domestic thing, I think got settled out of court. So with that one, the NFL might pop him with a few games for that. But the reckless driving thing was really bad. I think that was like a hit and run incident where I think once that gets settled, he's gonna for sure get 8 from that, but I don't think that might not happen this season.
And I think also once Rice returns, I think he's way better of an option than Addison is. Like I just think Addison,
that's
the fact you have to deal with a suspension, and you have to deal with the fact that I just don't think he's in for a good year. All like as far as the offense goes, Addison is a big avoid for me.
Yeah, I agree. And then, like, if he gets suspended, and Hawkinson will be back in the second half. And already saying about the Seahawks offense, I think it'll be a lot more efficient under Grubb, but he agrees that Walker is a high upside / risky RB2.
Like, there's gonna be some weeks when the Seahawks play a pretty bad defense, Walker's going off. But just there's a lot of times he's basically useless, and it's tough. Like if they're behind in a game, they're throwing. He's not giving you anything, and that's tough for your RB2.
Facts. Chad Hance up next. Shout out to Chad, one of our regulars here. He's got Tyreek, Nico, Devon A-Chain, Lamar, Kamara, Keenan, George Kittle, a lot of veterans. Nick Chubb, D-Hop. Man, he's at the retirement.
Imagine this team 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this team 3 years ago would have been lethal, bro. Curtis Samuel, another veteran. My God. Blake Corum, finally a rookie. There we go. A rookie, Blake Corum. It's a miracle. Jerry Jeudy, Antonio Gibson, and Darnell Mooney. Man. Yeah, you got the 2 Dolphins early. Nico, I like Nico, but that feels a little bit high. Receiver room, though, not bad. Running back room, I just don't like A-Chain as a 1. Like Kamara as a 2. Chubb as a 3, kind of shaky. Corum's height. Any other backs? Oh, yeah, Gibson. Yeah, he is what he is. Kittle, tight end, solid. Lamar, tight end, solid. This one's solid. It's just a lot of older guys, which isn't that bad for redraft. I'm just like, I just don't really believe in A-Chain like that, So I'll give it, one probably between a 6 and a 7. I think I'll go 6.5 for this one.
I think it's 7 range. I agree. I like Collins. It's a little, he's another guy. I like him a lot more in the third than I do in the second. Hill's great. That's a great receiver duo. Keenan as your 3 is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I don't
not
think there's a
bad. I
lot
think you
of
make the
upside
playoff.
behind him. Yeah. And then Achane and Kamara, you could be looking at 2 top 10 guys. You could be looking at 2 guys outside the top 20. So if you get health from them, I think PPR also is PPR. I think it's a good enough duo. And then if you get nothing from Chubb here, that's the problem. Like if your top 2 is Achane and Kamara, then you get nothing from Chubb, and you have no depth otherwise. You're playing with fire. And so that's my big concern with this team. Lamar and Kittle is a great duo there. So I'm very worried about the running back depth, but I think
it's kind of like Joseph's team, built similarly.
Yeah, but I think if you're healthy, this is a very solid team. So
I like it a little better than Joseph.
About a 7.
Okay, so you're a little higher on it than me.
But the second one of these guys gets hurt, your season
it could be trouble.
Pretty close to over without a trade. So it's, I also don't love Keenan, but I think it's a decent team.
Bad.
It's just, there's risk.
Facts. All right, my squad here from the 1.5 at Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, Rashad White, Devontae Smith, Scary Terry McLaurin, Najee, Rashi Rice, Joe Shiesty, Chase Brown, Josh Palmer, Chuba, Ty Chandler, T Law as my backup QB, and DeMario Pop Douglas. What you think, Beast?
I like the team a lot. I think,
nice.
You have a great tight end. You have a great tight end. You have a great wide receiver one, and you have I think a pretty good running back one. I like White, and then Smith and McLaurin. They're both very talented. That's the thing. At the end of the day, I think talent is very important to have in fantasy. You could talk about systems and opportunity. The teams want to get the best players the ball. Smith and McLaurin that applies to. Najee is your 2. It's definitely the low point of the starting lineup, but he is a safe guy to have there. Your Chase Brown behind him, maybe he can give you a little bit of lightning. Burrow's fine. Rashi has high upside once he's back. I like the team. Chuba off the bench. I like the team. I don't think it's not blowing me away, but I think it's very solid. It's well balanced, and there's a good mix of security and upside. So I'm thinking like 7, 6.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I like this squad, man. Yeah, because I feel like I like that I got Chuba and Josh Palmer. I feel like I did pretty well with the depth, and then T Law. I'm pretty happy with this squad. I really am. I think I didn't take a backup tight end obviously because I have Kelce. And then the receiver room, like McLaurin, Najee. I feel like my 5th, 6th round, I'm not like huge on McLaurin and Najee, but they're floor guys. And I got some upside later with like Chase Brown, Rashi Rice. So I feel like I balanced it pretty good. I mean, I'm probably a little biased when I say, but I think I'd probably give it a 8.5. Because I'm just like, I'll just say, but it's like one of those things to where I'm very bullish on this team. I think it's definitely a playoff team. I'd feel confident saying this team's for sure getting the playoff spot, maybe even a bye week. I'd go to war with this team for sure.
It's solid. And I think getting White in the 3rd, I think was really big. Because if you replace him with a guy like Josh Jacobs there, I'm looking at this team a lot differently. But I think you did well in the early rounds, and that's big.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate the positive feedback, brother. Let's move
Of
on now
course.
to Math Man, another one of our regulars. Had a lot of regulars in here. Appreciate y'all for keeping this thing going. Here we go. Usually every week someone goes crazy with the receivers, doing like a 3 or 4 group of receivers here. He goes Amon-Ra, Drake London, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, and in the true zero RB approach follows up the 4 receivers with Stroud, stacking Diggs with Stroud. Then David Montgomery, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler rips off a bunch of veteran backs. Then Roma Dunze, Zach Charbonnet, Dalton Schultz. Waited on tight end as well. All right, well, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Follows it up, closes it out, that is, with Kendre Miller, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Jalen Polk.
What to make of this team?
Yeah, this is a tough one to kind of dissect because it's obviously the receiver room and quarterback's really good, but then you're like the running backs and tight end. It's like, man, it's so like out of balance. It's so unbalanced.
It's so imbalanced. But it's a 2 flex league, so there's a place for all these guys to play. Listen, I've said I'm not high on Diggs, and personally, I still would have probably not taken him there. But for your wide receiver 4, who's complaining? Stroud, I love Stroud. Monty, I think he can give you production, but then after that, if you had one more guy who I looked at and I was like, on a weekly basis, you can rely on him for 10 to 12 points at running back, I would be very happy with this team. But Pollard, I just don't know what to expect from them. So personally, I think if it was a little more balanced, it probably would have suited it well. Especially, you also don't have a good tight, looking at where Ingram went, maybe if you had a better tight end, you can make up the points lost at RB2, but you have pretty much a hole in your lineup at tight end as far as compared to your opponent on a weekly basis, and you have a hole at RB2. So I don't love that. I don't think. Listen, Waddle has huge upside as a wide receiver 3, but I don't love the Diggs.
It's hard to
I'm giving it like a high 5, I think. Like a 5.
Yeah, I think I'll go 5-5.
Yeah,
I'll go 5-5. I just it's so unbalanced. I feel like you're just gonna for sure have to trade one of those 4 receivers, and then your tight end, you're gonna be playing the waiver wire tight end. Yeah, this is one if you're lucky, you'll make the playoffs. I think this one had some auto picks too, so that probably explains why it ended up so out of whack. Mega Moon up next. We're on to the second half of the draft here. Breece Hall, Marv Jr., Debo, Mahomes, Aaron Jones, George Pickens, Jalen Warren, Evan Ingram, Jerome Ford, Christian Watson, Rico Dowdle, Fryer Muth, Josh Downs, and Taysom. Wow, took 3 tight ends. Well, I guess Taysom was like a joker hybrid piece, but yeah, he waited on running back. Oh no, he had Breece. My bad. He had Breece, Aaron Jones, Warren Ford. Yeah, it was a decent running back.
I like this team.
Yeah, it looks pretty balanced. Like Marv, Debo, not a huge fan of him. Pickens, Watson, a lot of upside there in the receiver room. Tight end, very good. Ingram, quarterback, very good. Mahomes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one outside of the receivers, but he's got upside there to where, and he's got safer options at the other spots. So yeah, this is a very well balanced team. I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to point out this should probably be the last team I rank because I have a long commute in the morning for work. I want to make sure I get some sleep. I have a big presentation tomorrow.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, do your thing. Good luck with that.
Thank you. But I think this is a good way to end it because I like this. This is my favorite team we've seen so far. I've said I'm not a big QB early guy, but once you get into the mid-4th, Mahomes there, that's fine by me. Breece is my RB3. Harrison is my wide receiver. I want to say 8. Debo's in. If Debo can stay healthy, he's huge upside. He'll have his off games, but I like Jones a lot. I like Pickens a lot. I like Warren. I like Ingram more. I love Ingram where he got him. Christian Watson's good depth. Ford's going to give him something for a while until Chubb is back. There's really no picks I'm looking at that I'm questioning, for the first at least 12 rounds from what I can see there. It's well balanced. I think listen, you have some injury concerns, I guess, with this team, but it's the NFL. You can't predict injuries. That's not something I would get too concerned about. when drafting a team, and I think there's a lot of upside. So I'm giving it like an 8.4, 8.5,
Okay, yeah,
which
I'm
is
with you,
by
man. I
far the
really
highest I've
like it,
given.
man. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go 8-8. And with that being said, Mega Moon, you're in. The followers, real league, you're in. You get the next spot since Mega Moon's a regular. So great team, and appreciate you always tuning in. So Mega Moon, ticket is punched, joining B Man. So we've got
Attaboy,
2
Mega Moon.
members for the real draft. Gonna be the Monday before the Thursday night game. Monday, September. What is that? September 2nd, Monday, September 2nd. So,
Thank you
yep.
for having me.
But yeah, for sure,
I had a
Beast.
great
Yeah.
time. I'd be happy to run it back. I gotta start streaming more. I enjoyed this. I was doing it a couple years ago. I haven't done it in a minute.
Right on, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to run it back, man. Maybe we could do one with us and Ari.
Oh, of course. Let's get a whole squad going.
Right. Yeah, maybe we could live stream the IG Experts League.
Absolutely. Well, now
Get Flo Joe on
Couch is
that too.
gone. We need,
Yeah, unfortunately, College is going. Yeah, we'll have to
stocks. You got
pick
the
up the slack.
videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll talk more about that, man. I'll let you
Absolutely.
run.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Everyone in the chat, if you don't know me, Fantasy Football Beast on Instagram.
Yeah, check him out,
Tap
yo.
in. Thank you.
FFP.
I had a great time.
Right on, man. Have a good rest of your night.
Take care. You too.
Yep. Peace out, bro. All right, so let's finish grading this thing. Appreciate the beast on there. Ari's down. Bet, bro. Bet. Yeah, we'll have to think of something. We'll have to cook something up for that IG Experts. Like maybe get Crazy Smitty on there. All right, Marty up next. Let's see what Marty cooked up. Jettis, Olave, Laporta, Mixon, A-Rich, Stevenson, Ridley, Javante, Tajay, Sutton, Jacoby, Myers, that is. What's Bogey call him? Jacoby. My baloney has a first name. Is that there? Oh yeah, because it's Myers. Yeah, like Oscar Mayer. Yeah. Then Hawkinson, Jahan Dotson, and Matthew Stafford. Let me see. You know what, Marty? I'm gonna call Bogey and see if I said my phone's dead. Damn it. Oh well. I was gonna call Bogey and see if he would pick up and give you a rapid fire grade, but unfortunately, not able to do that because my freaking phone is dead. So we'll get Bogey on it. I'm sure plenty of other times. He's always given he gives a harsh grade, man. You might not want to get a grade from Bogey. He's if you get a good grade from Bogey, that means you really did well. But yeah, the receiver room. I like the, Jettis Olave, very strong start. Jettis at ace, great value. I know you're a Vikings fan, Marty, so I'm sure you were jumping for joy to get Jettis there, even though the QB situation is not ideal. He's still a top 5 receiver. Ridley, so yeah, their depth's a little shaky, but I like the Dotson pick, man. 13th round for Jahan Dotson. That's sneaky. I got Scary Terry. I'm pretty high on the Commanders this year with Jaden. So, and I like the A-Rich Stafford combo a lot. Laporta Hawk, so very strong depth, it seems like, in the running back room. Mixon, Stevenson, Javante, Tajay. Pretty good depth, not a whole lot of upside there. But yeah, I really like this team, Marty. This is a very strong team. Pretty similar to Steven Moonen, as very balanced, has a lot of upside. Yeah, this is a good one, man. I'll give you an 8. I'll go a little lower than Steven. For you, I'll go 8.4, but it's like very, very good, bro. Very good team, bro. Very good team. And if you keep coming back, bro, I think this is like only your first one of this year with us. But if you keep coming back on Mondays, Marty, you'll get a spot in that real league. That's going to be the last Monday before the start of the season. I think it's September 2nd. When's the damn NFL Week 1 start? I may have butchered that. Yeah, no, I was right. September 2nd. All right. Yeah, there's anybody September 2nd. So if you want in, Marty, just let me know. And, I'm sure we'll be able to get you a spot. So, yeah, appreciate you, bro. All right, 4 to go. I'm at the rapid fire these. I'm getting hungry. I need to eat dinner. I'll just keep it all the way 100. Harbottle, another one of our regulars. Shout out to Harbottle. Jameer, Devontae, Cooper Cup, Jalen Hurts, T. Higgins, James Conner, Zach Moss, Jaden Daniels, Jake Ferguson. Wow, what a value with Fergie. Jameson, Adonai Mitchell, Rashid Shaheed, Tyrone Tracy, and Alex Madison. Backfield pretty good, starting off with Gibbs. Okay depth, not great, but it's all right. Jalen and Jaden, great QB room, obviously. Jake Fergie, good tight end. Devontae Cup, T. Higgins. Yeah, this is a pretty good squad. I think it's I don't know if I could give it quite an 8, but it's close, bro. Man, these teams in the second half are really good. Some of these earlier teams fumbled, man, because these later teams, y'all let them get so much good value. Shoot, I'll give this one a 7.9. It's damn near an 8. It's really close, but not quite, but very good. Very good. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, you're a regular, Joseph, but you gotta. We're giving out, tickets to whoever gets really good grades. So if you can have a week where you get a really good grade, bro, then you'll get an invite through that. But how many weeks we have? I don't know if we don't have 11 weeks left, so we'll definitely have a few open spots. Just like, and if we have too much demand, we'll have to do a drawing. But if not, I think you'll get a spot, bro. Don't even trip. Like you show up, you keep showing up, bro. You'll get a spot. Don't trip. Zytru up next. I don't know if he's one of B's people, and I think he's one of our people. I think he's one of the new people in our chat. So shout out to him. JT, Kyron Jacobs, a robust RB, 3-headed monster stack. That's not bad. Jacobs 310. That's a good value. DK. Christian Kirk. The only issue is then you kind of sacrifice a lot of receiver. Christian Kirk, Keon, Leggett, Ricky Pearsall, Quentin Johnson. Yeah, not really a big fan of them. And Njoku and Sanat. Yeah, he took a lot of chances on these rookies. And then Dak as his QB, not bad. But yeah, this team, I'm just not a big fan of robust RB thing. I'm like, and then the tight end's not that big on. Dak's pretty good. He got some values here. I'll give it a 5.5. I think it's a little above average, but not anything special. There's no more beast guys here. He's got AJ Brown, Saquon, James Cook, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Kyle Pitts, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Love, JSN, Benson, Wright, Dobbs, Komet, Mitchell. Yeah, pretty good RB room, receiver room. Pretty good. Not a big fan of Pitts, but I like Jay Love. At least he got Komet as a backup. Yeah, this one's aight. Solid 7, I'd say. And then Murph Dog. Shout out to Murph Dog, our last team to grade here. He's got G-Dub, Puka, Malik Neighbors, strong 3-headed receiver set, Josh Allen, Zamir White, Chris Godwin, Devin Singletary, Jonathan Brooks, Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers, Tua, Kimani Vidal, Luke Musgrave, Ray Davis. Yeah, backfield's definitely hurting. I like Zamir White, but as a one, it's shaky. The rest of it's pretty shaky. My bad. Not highlighted there. Receiver room, though, very strong. Bowers tight end one's kind of shaky. Allen good QB room. But he's going to have to make some trades. I'll give it a slightly under a 6. I'll give it a 5.9. It's not bad, but it's probably not quite a playoff team. So, all right, that's going to do it, y'all. Appreciate everyone that rocked with us here tonight. Guru Nation Podcast. We live every Monday, and we got a bunch of other stuff in collaboration with the Gin Wealth Network. Shout out to Bogard, JD, Peacock, Kidda, Lee, everyone that rocks with us on the GWN. We'll be live tomorrow morning for Wake Your Game Up here on the channel as well as their channel. So we'll be simulcasting Wake Your Game Up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific. So get up with us. We're breaking down the AFC North. Gonna break down the AFC North for fantasy as well as for reality. Probably talk about win totals and stuff. So yeah, y'all tune in for that tomorrow morning. Wake your game up. So we'll see y'all in the morning tomorrow. Won't be long. So catch y'all then, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Peace out.